Welcome everybody to the new Hoops Frenzy podcast. I'm Dean Holzwarth, joined by my good friend Andy McDonald, and we are back.
That we are. This time we're not wearing shorts, that's for sure.
No, we
the winter edition.
Yes, the winter edition. Obviously, we had a great time doing the Football Frenzy podcast, and now we're going to do some basketball here in the wintertime.
That's for sure. I'm excited for it. Only been able to get out to so many games so far, but covered a good amount, obviously. Dean working with Tri-Unity, so you've been out there for sure. But yeah, already this far into the basketball season, it's crazy. It seems like football just ended, but Thanksgiving being late this year, it kind of just went right into it. So it's been moving along, that's for sure.
It definitely has. Obviously, I look at some of these teams' records for the boys, and we're 8 games in. I know at Tri-Unity, Rockford's has 8 games. Byron Center's played 9 games already. Yeah. So a new 22-game season. We're kind of ticking along here, and then January and February here is where everything kind of. There's games every Tuesday, Friday, some games on Saturday. So, but before we get into it, how was your Christmas break? How was your holiday
season?
Pretty
good, man. My family's not as big anymore, so just staying around the house pretty much. Smaller, I had some family come over to my parents' house. Then, New Year's, I was just here in Grand Rapids. I actually covered the Griffins game. Oh, good. So I did work on New Year's Eve, but did go out after for a little bit. But, yeah, I'm glad that we're in 2025 moving along.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're back on a routine right now. For me, obviously, games, and then we have practices almost every day. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy for me right now. But did have a chance to go to the Lions-Bears game at Soldier Field for the first time a few weeks ago with 9 other guys, whatever it was, and had a great weekend in Chicago. Went to the new DraftKings Sportsbook
I
bar.
went there one time, too, in Wrigleyville.
Right next to Wrigley there. Yeah. The place was really, really cool.
That's awesome for sure. Yeah,
so many TVs watch college football.
Yeah. They had a cool setup down there. Wrigleyville is easily one of my favorite places to go.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't been, it's a place to check out, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a great place, good food, great place to watch football.
I agree.
Or any sports.
I'm being back in rhythm because the Wednesday Christmases,
New
Year's,
the middle of the week.
I'm good on that forever. I wish they would just
100%.
get rid of that, and I don't even if it had to be a move date. I mean, I understand it doesn't make sense to move New Year's date at all, but it's just like, gosh, why do we got to have this in the middle of the week? It's like go back for 2 days or whatever it is.
Yes.
So weird. I mean, obviously in the sports schedule it's a little different anyway, but it is what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, not to start out with Tri-Unity, but I feel like we have to kind of start out with my varsity coach at Tri-Unity, Mark Keeler, getting to 700 wins on Saturday. Sure. We went down to Schoolcraft for the Champions Classic and played who did we play?
Good question.
Lenawee.
Okay.
I always get that one. Sorry, Lenawee Christian. We played. Obviously, a perennial power in Division 4, and came away with the win in that game to give coach number 700. So, only the 4th coach in MHSAA history to get to 700 wins, and he will pass Dan Fife, who was at Clarkston. He's at 703, I think, right now. So obviously, coach will get past him and move into number 3 overall. So pretty prestigious accomplishment.
That's crazy.
It's very rare.
That's a lot of dedication. I mean, to do high school sports for that long, it says a lot about how much you care about the kids of this age and playing the game and how important it is to be well coached and all that stuff. And obviously, Mark's done a great job. I didn't really get into this business till the last 5-6 years, but I was able to see his team with Brady Titus win that state title, and that was a very that was one of the best games I've ever covered at that stadium. That was unbelievable. Went back and forth, went to overtime. But he's had a lot of great players come through there, and it's no surprise that he's the one coaching them because he's been able to get so many wins consistently, be so good. That team is always at the top, and in high school that's hard to do because so much turnover and stuff. And I mean, even more so in basketball, it's not like as many players make a roster. So to be able to get kids coming in and out every year and still be able to find a way to do good is pretty awesome, and a great accomplishment for Mark. That's for sure.
Yep. And just being around him the last couple of years, a great Christian guy, strong faith, and he preaches that to his players, and he gets his teams prepared, right? I love Mark because of the way he prepares his teams, and there's a high standard at Tri-Unity. We go into every game, and they know coming off last year that they're playing the defending state champions.
Right.
So we get everybody's best game. We lost a close game to Fowler early in the year, then we lost to West Catholic, where we didn't play very well at all in the Cornerstone Holiday Tournament. But I think this team has a potential to make another run. And, for Coach, this is his last season.
Yeah.
So I know the players on the team really want him to go out with another successful run, hopefully a state title. We'll see what happens. Lots of good teams in Division 4. But, yeah.
And you're taking the head job after
38
that,
season.
Right?
Nope, that's going to my buddy Brent Voorhees. No, I'm excited. Sorry to see obviously Coach go at the end of the year, but Brent Voorhees, who's the freshman coach and varsity assistant coach, he played at Tri-Unity. Great guy. Looking forward to working with him right now, but looking forward to him to take over, and I think he's going to do a great job.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and you figure Coach has 700 wins, 218 losses.
Yeah, that's great.
So consistently for 38 years, I don't know if they've had a losing season, but
No, like I said, there's one of those teams you pencil in. I mean, that's like it's like in March Madness. Like you got the blue bloods of college basketball, right? You're like, this team's gonna make it. A little different the last couple of years, but you always think Duke's gonna make it, North Carolina's gonna make it, whatever, Michigan State's gonna make it, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's like what it is with Tri-Unity in high school. Like every year that I've been covering it, we expect to see them at the Breslin Center.
Yeah.
Or around there at least, or making a run in the playoffs. Like I know in those late weekends in the basketball season, I'm going to be covering them. That's always how it goes. So it says a lot when you're able to maintain that.
Definitely. Let's kind of just go through the divisions here, where we'll talk about who's playing well, kind of what to expect here in the next few months here. Division 1, Muskegon has gotten off to a really, really good start.
Yeah.
I know Jennison's a little bit down this year, but I looked at the score. They last Friday they won 65-17.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter who you play.
Last Friday,
17 points is pretty good to hold somebody to.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I think it was 43-3 at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jennison fans, but Muskegon's really good.
No, Muskegon was one of those teams that coming into the season you saw in the top 10 rankings everywhere.
Yep.
I think people knew that they were going to come back pretty strong after the season they had last year. So. It's not really a surprise, and I'm sure they feel good about it. I'm not sure how many of those guys are on the football team or whatever, but obviously a little bit disappointing of a football season. So I'm sure to be able to start this well in basketball is really uplifting for them right now. So it's good to see.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Obviously those guys got into the gym a little bit earlier because they weren't in the playoffs.
Yeah, usually they're always playing late. Yeah.
So they would have got a late start, but it seems like like we said, we don't know how many football players are on that team.
Yeah.
Have a lot of great athletes at Muskegon, but that helped a little bit to kind of get an early start in basketball and have this really good record so far.
No doubt, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting out and watch them. I haven't been able to yet, but from what I've seen, everything seems to be like they're one of the best teams in not just the area, but the state. Yeah.
A couple of good teams, Rockford and Byron Center, which we are recording this on Tuesday, and they actually play tonight at Cornerstone in a huge matchup. Going into tonight, Rockford's 7-1, Byron Center's 8-1.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a good one. It's been circled. I mean, it's the last game of the tournament, so I think they kind of knew that it was going to be a big game.
Yep.
So it's been obviously. That Cornerstone tournament goes on for what is it, 2.5 weeks? 3
yes,
weeks?
20-some games.
I was there at least 5 times covering games.
Yep.
So that's it, and it's nice because you get all those teams together and you get to see teams from 40, 50 minutes away that are still in our area. You get to see them play in the same arena, so it's kind of cool to be able to be a part of that and stuff. But yeah, tonight's a great way to cap it off. Both those schools have been good in previous years, so I expect nothing less for it to be a good matchup. These are one of those games where you can test yourself early and learn things, going forward. And I'm sure that both them, win or lose, they're going to take something from this game. That's how big it is.
100%. You have not seen Rockford yet, or have you?
No, I have not been able to cover them yet.
Okay.
So.
All right. Don't know a lot about Rockford. Obviously, we'll find out more in the coming weeks. I do know Byron Center.
I did cover them, and they look good.
Byron Center returns a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys from that team. Just from through the years. Obviously, Cam Carroll's the big one there, going to play Division I. He's having a really strong year. Had a buzzer beater, I think, against Warren Lincoln a few weeks ago, where they kind of had a rally. Kean Hinkle, a little 5'9", 5'10" guards, shooting the ball really, really well for them.
Absolutely.
Cash Bont is a junior, averaging close to a double-double. Landon Conrad's, really, really good rebounder. So Isaac Lee from the football team.
Yeah.
So they just have a really, really solid group of guys coming back, and they're playing well.
Yeah, and they seem to all know each other pretty well, so it seems to really help them. They've played sports together their whole life for the most part over there. So it seems to really make them be good at all the sports they decide to play lately. Because we talked about in the last one, Byron Center's just been good at everything lately. It's pretty crazy.
I knew that's where you're going.
Yeah.
And hockey team, coming off a state championship last year. We're talking football. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Good things ahead for Byron Center. Andy, who else in Division I?
Hudsonville is definitely a team to look at.
Yes.
And I was able to cover them, and they looked pretty darn good the first couple times I've seen them play. I don't really know if they were on the radar as much either, but they've definitely been moving up their rankings. I've seen. I mean, I don't think they were in many people's top 10, kind of like the football team.
Yeah, right.
I don't think anybody really expected them to go to the state finals, but no, it's been a pleasant surprise. I mean, they're at 6-1 right now, but they've been moving up everybody's rankings. The ones on the D zone, which I'm looking at right now, they moved up 5 actually, which they just updated yesterday. So they've really been moving up. They're up to number 8 now in the state, they believe. So yeah, it says a lot about what they're doing over there, and their girls program has been good for a lot of years. Like every year I cover them, their girls team is pretty good.
Yep.
Don't usually hear as much about the men's. So
yeah,
maybe there'll be a team that sneaks in there and is a little bit better than we expected to be coming into the season.
Yeah, kind of looking at the roster right now. A few names that stay out to me: Isaiah Hamlet, 6'8" senior. He's having a really good season. I think averaging 20-some points a game.
Yep.
They got some guys from the football team. Brady Van Lake's on that team. Carson Dykstra's on that team.
Some big guys.
Quarterback Griffin Baker's on that team.
Those guys got some height.
So that success, Jalen Oosting. So they got like success from football, and they're kind of carrying that into basketball.
Yeah, no, not really surprised. Like it's a lot of times you get the cross athletes at this level, and they had plenty of them at that sport. So
yeah. No, OK Red play started last week. I actually went over and got a chance to watch Granville and East Kentwood play last week. So that started, and Grand Haven's having a nice season so far as well. So I think that OK Red, as it is, in most sports, is going to be, up in the air with Rockford, Hudsonville, and Grand Haven.
For sure. No, that seems right to me.
Yep. All right. Anything else in Division I?
Not that I want to talk about. I mean, the one team I want to talk about is Northview because I think they're.
Oh yeah, Northview.
They're not rated high enough. I'm not sure if they're Division I or Division II though. I think they
might be Division II.
They might be Division II. Yep. But either way, they're down at 34 in the rankings I'm looking at. That's one team that I think should be higher. I've covered them a couple times this year.
Division I. Apologize. Division I.
Okay, so maybe that's why. And they are 5-2, but they.
Yep.
David Chan over there. He schedules a lot of really really tough games. Like every time it seems like I'm covering Northview, it's against either somebody that's not from our area that's a pretty good school every year, or they're playing the best teams in the area. They got Cam Ryans over there. That kid can play some basketball, and they've been able every year. It seems like since they made that state championship game, they didn't win it. They had to play against De La Salle. It was a couple years ago.
Yep.
It seems like since then they've had a program that's just been like constantly producing good basketball players coming out of there. Kids that have made it to Division II colleges and stuff like that.
Yep.
They actually had one kid go to Butler, so they have had a good program there for a while, and I expect them to keep being the same way this year. They've started off 5-2 and been pretty good. So,
yeah. Turn to Division II a little bit. Uni Christian's having a really good start to the season. Coach Scott Solzman,
they're right ahead of them.
Been around forever, and he's got a really nice lineup this year. Kind of looking at some of the guys from.
They're 32 in the D zones rankings. They moved up 8 spots. So the 7-1 starts obviously opening the eyes of some people. That's for sure.
Yep. And South Christian, I know they've had a couple. Carson Viss obviously is leading that team.
Yeah.
They've had a couple of, I think, tough losses. I feel like they lost to, I think Byron Center beat them at Calvin a few weeks ago. But obviously another dangerous team.
No, believe it or not, we talk about everything with Carson and football. Basketball is actually his sport, technically. So,
right.
Yeah, I definitely expect South Christian to be competing for some stuff towards the end of the season. Don't put anything past that kid with what they were able to do in football towards the end of the season too. So just got the mindset to win, and they're off to a good start, and it's not really a surprise.
Yep. Catholic Central under a new coach this year.
Yeah.
I think they've had some tough losses, but that's a team that's going to compete obviously in their conference, and it's just a group of kids who I think they're younger this year. But no, they're going to make some noise as well, I think.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been able to cover them this year, and they did look very good in the game that I was able to see. But new coach. I haven't been able to meet him yet. I actually don't know his name, but I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is he looks really young.
He is young. He was an assistant coach last year under TJ Merriman.
So the fact that just says a lot. If you get the props from TJ to become the coach at a program like that, it says a lot. So, and actually TJ came in that night and talked to me for a minute. And said like he expects everything to be the same and him to be able to keep the program going the right way. So when you get that kind of stuff from TJ, you're doing something right. And Catholic Central's been so good year in and year out. Obviously, what was it? I think a year or two ago they won a state championship. So they have had a lot of athletes come through there, and TJ's a great coach. He's been around this state for a while in basketball, and he's so good for the community and everything else. So it felt like a big loss, but I'm sure Catholic Central will find a way to pick it up and be back to the perennial power they've been, because every year they're competitive. So
definitely. Let's turn this on to the girls real quick. Rockford, obviously lost last year in the state semifinals.
Yeah.
I was there. That was obviously a tough loss for them.
Crazy.
But they're still really, really good. They shoot the 3-point ball really, really good. Just a bunch of athletes, and they're off to a 5-1
I don't know
start
if
right
I
now.
see better coach teams than it is with Rockford women's basketball. Like
Yeah.
every year, it seems like they know exactly what they're doing out there. Like the way that they run their offense, you can just tell. Like at that level, when you see teams like passing that well and getting open every single possession, like they never have like a contested shot. It seems like at the end of their possessions, like they're always finding the open three, find the open person. They've been that way for years now. Obviously, yeah, last year lost in a last-second shot. It was the rematch of the state championship game the year before, so it was a huge game, and it was a tough loss for them. A game they led a lot of the way. But both of our teams last year lost by a point in almost the same exact way. It's like a
West Catholic.
near half. Yeah, West Catholic lost as well. It was like near half court 3-point shot. Like
I was
just kinda
sitting right there.
it. Oh, so crazy.
Yeah.
I was right there too.
Those were two amazing games too.
Oh, for sure. They were great games down to the finish.
Yeah.
I mean, the West Catholic one was a little lower scoring. That Rockford one was like, I mean, it was a great game back and forth. Like one you definitely pay to see. So when Rockford makes the state championship, they like bring their entire fan base. So the place was actually pretty full for that game, and it was great to watch. But unfortunately, tough results for the teams from our area. But I'm sure that Rockford will find a way to be competing for it again this year.
Yeah, I think they got motivation from that. They lost some really good seniors, but they have some good young talent. And last Friday, they started out OK Red Play by beating Grand Haven 60-48. And I think those two teams will battle for that first place in the red.
No doubt, yeah. I mean, Grand Haven's up there in most people's rankings too. They were in the top 5 in a lot coming into the season, so expect good things from them. But outside of that, I mean, I'm seeing Forest Hills. They're off Northern. They're off to a 7-0 start, so they seem like a team to look out for. This year, and South Christian has started off 7-1 again. Just kind of the same thing. It seems like their program is always able to at least be competitive, and no matter what sport they're playing, kind of thing. Very similar to Byron Center. It seems like they always find athletes out there. So not a surprise they're in a lot of top 25s.
Yeah, and a little information for you. So Danny Brown is South Christian's football coach. Well, his wife, Erica Brown, is the girls' basketball coach.
Okay.
And when I was coaching at Granville, Erica was the varsity girls coach for 2 years. I was the JV coach under her for a couple of years. So, yeah, got to know her really, really well. And she loves basketball. They have 3 daughters who I know are going to play basketball and are already started. And so, that's obviously a sports family. And the thing I remember about Erica is she's very competitive, just like Danny, and wants to win, and she's going to do what she can to help those girls get to where they want to be.
Absolutely. I wouldn't expect anything less. That seems to be the way that it's done over there. They expect to win when they play sports.
Yeah.
That's how it usually is.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that'll wrap it up unless you got anything else.
No, that's it for me. I think it's just fun to be back in the basketball season, and I'm excited to be able to get out there and see more of these teams play. Obviously, Christmas and stuff, like I was able to get to as many as I could, but it's not always that easy when you got a bunch of holiday stuff going on. So able to get back in the grind now. I'm sure I'll be at a couple this week, and we'll have more for you the next time we come back. It seems like we're going to do it every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
2
to 3 weeks leading up to the state tournament, and then obviously I think we'll get maybe a little more in depth once the state tournament starts. But well, thanks for joining us. We hope you follow us along the way as we head into March Madness in a couple months.
For sure, we're getting there.
We are. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.